Here we go, it's time for Group H here in the top right hand corner. Playing for Shopify Rebellion on Data C. It's the Queen of Blades, Scarlett. Her opponent in the opposite corner. Playing for Onsite Gaming. 5 GSL tournaments under his belt. Give it up for Maru. Players with quite the history. You wouldn't say that, but they actually played against each other plenty of times. Sometimes in GSL, other tournaments. And overall they're very experienced in fighting each other. Both developing quite a multitude of styles, especially Scarlett. One of the most, honestly, hard to read Zerg players. She can do a little bit of everything, and she's kind of scary whatever she does. I mean, even though she tends to kind of gain some trends. Sometimes she likes to build so much she does it like 10 times in the same tournament. I don't know if you remember that time in which like drone pools was like an actual strategy, since mats were not this big. And yeah, she made that work plenty of times. The overload pathing is a little bit all over the place, trying to check for proxies. Maru, of course, one of the best proxy players of all time, as far as Terran is concerned. We haven't really seen many players being as successful with proxies as Maru. Actually, straight up winning a GSL tournament just out of proxies, basically. Like, I think he won like 95% of the game he proxied. And in the finals, I think he was against TY. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he won like 3 of the 7 games he won out of proxies, and he lost the 3 games he didn't proxy, aside from game number 7, which was on the 4 players map, the usual 4 players map on GSL. So you couldn't proxy because you didn't know where your opponent was. So like, you can just random proxy somewhere. But I do remember like some hidden structures in that game. Like, that was an awkward game. That was one like out of early game units such as Cyclones, Zenins, and Reapers, and then he kind of snowballed. It was a pretty fun GSL. And again, you will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, I don't remember if Scarlett and Maru were in the same group, or Scarlett and TY were in the same group. Huh? Yeah, I see a Flame Rex, guys. Checking for Ovis. Going all this way just to snap this overload. That is extremely suspicious. Like, this is already a very big red flag for Scarlett. Why does Maru want to kill my overload so bad? Of course, we do see that it's going to be a Widowmine drop, and trying to have the queens out of position. Pretty decent. We see an armory pretty early on as well, to make sure these Widowmines stay hidden after the burrow. But I'm sure if there is also another purpose with this. Maru not really playing Vesping heavy right now, not adding Tech Lab, not adding Reactors. It's gonna add a Liberator to the mix. And then it's going to the right side. Maru knows there's no OVs in his perimeter. So he's just gonna send the Medivac out. Luckily for him, one Link moves exactly in that moment. 2 queens already in position. They try and deflect this Widowmine drop. Of course, Widowmines will not do as much. There's already a Spore Crawler in position. Another one is getting through here, but the Widowmine will get a shot. Scarlett very slow on her pool, and she's gonna lose plenty of drones. She didn't react at all. 11 drones will go down completely uncontested. And yes, you may think, oh well, she's alright, she's one base ahead. She still has more workers than her opponent, yes, but it's CVT, guys. Like, losing 11 workers, you're gonna suffer from this a lot, because you will need your tech. And you don't want to slow down tech to drop down larva for drones. That is a no-no, especially now that Maru is trying to double it up, is slowing down creep expense. And of course, with plenty of Elbots and a very bruised Medivac, is also gonna try to break through. Of course, there are a little bit too many queens for that to ever work. The Liberator in the main will kill quite a lot of larva and stop a lot of mining time. Aside from getting a lot of scouting information, Maru playing a very clean game so far. The Liberator is pretty much in the perfect spot, but he will still need to fly away. You can't really find a good sieging spot next to the third. Reason why the ADC is a very decent map for Zerg too, since you can take the triangular pattern without being too punished for it. Main base is way too small for a big punish to happen, so also the rush distance, like, it's just one screen, you can see. Not the rush distance, the distance between the third and the main, it's very minimal. It's basically never punished for a triangular third instead of a linear one, which is also pretty decently easy to defend. Big choke point, not a lot of very good tank siege spots aside from this one that can't hit on a Vespene Geyser, but it can also be hit by queens, so it's a very balanced map. I do like this map a lot, not gonna lie. It's very similar to 2K. I do feel like eventually it's gonna be better. It's gonna take a while, due to, of course, players adopting. Maru playing very aggressively over here, sending Elbots and Marines in, 3 Medivacs to keep these units topped up. And of course, group spread is the key over here. One queen basically suicides in the middle of all that bio. Mailing speed almost completed, +1/+1 incoming for Scarlett as well, with a Spire a little bit on the later side. But still gonna provide plenty of mutas whenever they are needed. Over here, a couple Banelings will not exactly get Dream connections. Very good focus fire by Maru. Sacrificing only 1 Elbot. Actually 2 right now, but you can see the queens running very low on health, dropping a million transfuses and still running very low on energy. Now the lanes will try to make it through, and it's time for the mutas to pop out. When the mutas pop out, it's gonna be very hard for these Medivacs to fly into safety. They will boost away, but they're not as fast anymore. And the mutas will try to go for the cleanup, but this is a little bit too much. Scarlett biting more than she can chew, losing 2 mutas basically for free after showing her hand. Maru very quick on his fingertips, dropping down units immediately and focus firing down the mutas before they can deal too much damage. One tank is gonna siege up behind his wall of Marines. And the Medivacs are all safe. +1/+1 is about to complete. Flyer attack, not even halfway through. These mutas are not exactly good in a heads-up fight. The Banelings will roll through, but the 3 splits from Maru are absurdly amazing. I was biting my tongue there. I was meant to say absurdly amazing, which is not even a word. Oh my god, he actually goes down as well, but this time the connections are much, much better. Lots of queens go down, lots of bio goes down as well. Flyer's attack is about to complete. Tons more lanes are spawning as well. Crit spread is looking amazing on the other side of the map, but on the top side, Maru can hurt again and again. And also, honestly, over here, crit spread is not that great. This is another very tough base to attack into. I'm unsure what happened over here. Probably just a scouting link. Oh, another main battle. The Lings and the Mutas will manage to snipe down 1 tank before the Banelings run through to snipe the rest, but Maru will kite backwards and kill a little bit more creep. Scarlett ready to bite back. This planetary is not finished yet. Very good scouting lean from before. And now it's gonna be a very dangerous situation. Tons of units need to be pulled. Meanwhile, on the other side, oh, I do feel like tons of Marines died over there. I saw a lot of green ooze, acid, splashing all over Maru's bio. Scarlett slowed down in her build, is still gonna bite back with full might and force Maru back, killing quite a lot of SCVs as well, and she's almost on 90 workers herself. Her hive is gonna be slightly later than she wants it to. As you can see, Infestation Pit, I do feel like, yeah, no Infestation Pit yet. +2/+2 just now started. She needed to cut some corners to have a powerful army, to have powerful upgrades, and still have these many workers. But from now onwards, she's in a much less steep hill. Let's keep it at that. Lean's gonna get a little bit of scouting, not gonna move with the full might. Scarlett needs to save as many units as possible. She relies a lot on defense advantage. The army of Maru is really strong right now. It's probably a big spot for the blue Terran. While Scarlett, close to her weakest, to be honest. Like, this is not a powerful Zerg moment. You don't have +2 flyer, you don't have +2/+2 melee and carapace, you don't have tech, you don't have infestation pit, you don't have a hive incoming, you don't have a Hydra den for lurkers, you don't have anything at this stage. Infestation pit just now started. Scarlett is gonna be on the back foot for at least a minute and a half, maybe more. Actually, yeah, probably closer to 2 minutes. Widowmine shot, kind of a dream Widowmine shot, forcing these mutas back. But the mutas have done quite a marvelous job, buying a lot of time for Scarlett. This overseer is gonna die without doing anything at all. And the base here on top left, he's probably just gonna be sacked. Scarlett sending quite a lot of links and binlings, forming the good old concave to get us around. Splitting units off and right, and trying to send a couple platoons in, and try to deal as much damage as possible. Very good micro on both sides. Maru, definitely not a pushover when it comes to sniping down binlings before they get connections, but here comes a big old flank. Scarlett is not gonna have enough, and Maru takes game number 1. New game, new story. Here in the top left hand corner of Moondance, playing for Shopify Rebellion. She needs 2 in a row. Can she do it? It's Scarlett. Her opponent in the opposite corner here in the bottom right, playing for Team Onsite Gaming, looking to double it up and get the clean sweep. It's Maru. Of course, and match point. It's a best of 3s with maneuvers are oftentimes decisive. And Maru never stopped being aggressive. Scarlett though, this is kind of an early bull. She's not taking early spin geysers, so not really expecting anything crazy. It's just a 16 pull to counter. I mean, it's a 14 pull. I didn't really pay too much attention, but it's just a standard counter to proxies. You're gonna have your 6 links on the map. You're gonna be a little bit annoying with them, and of course you're gonna preemptively counter any proxy incoming, which is not the case. Moondance not really the highest rush distance out of the pool. I think it's 36 seconds, maybe wrong, but I do think it's the rush distance. There's really not a lot of obstacles. Like, yeah, in the middle, like, I'm gonna be honest, I was highly overestimating the traverse difficulty in this map due to the middle of the map being covered in side blockers, but honestly, this is pretty much only an issue in PvT, and not even that much. Terran is never gonna have issues because Medivacs. Zerg is, let's be honest, you're gonna cover this area and creep sooner rather than later. It's an issue in those stages in the game in which you don't have map control anyway. And Mirror TVT is kind of the odd one out due to how important is vision there. But for PvT, it's a little bit more important due to observers just not always being that reliable when it comes to ensuring disruptor shots. You kind of need observer speed. Like, yeah, it never really made too much of a difference in the games I casted on this map. I think I saw once or twice just a slightly more favorable trade in the immediate early game. And I think it was TVT as well, so... As for everything else, you can see Maru going for the pocket base, Scarlett deciding not to. This is pretty much going to be a standard, I feel, for this particular matchup. Terran can work with 5 Vespin Geysers. It's really not that big of a deal. It's much better to have an easily defensible third and just play with the choke point over here, and overall being very hard to attack into, with a small natural being a huge factor for Terran defense. While for the Zerg player, you kind of need to afford any possible reaction. Zerg is the reactive race. You need to have the possibility to just snap, think, and say, yeah, I'm about to go Spire, and I'm about to take 6 Vespin Geysers, which of course you cannot do with this. And of course, not being on 66 workers, which is the sweet spot for Zerg, can hurt sometimes, so you want to take a standard third base. Unless you go for something very aggressive, which is honestly weird, because Scarlett is going for something very aggressive over here. With early pool, of course she's gonna have also early Roach Warren if she decides to skip link speed, as you can see. And right here, there's about to be death. There's about to be quite a lot of death. No bunker goes down, Roaches fighting against SCVs, and that's never what the Terran wants. Of course, the Medivac is gonna make very complicated for Scarlett to fight the main army of Maru, and she's gonna lose quite a lot of her own army. She's fighting back in full might though, tons and tons of SCVs are falling down, the Ravagers are spawning one after the other, and they can kite these Marines forever. The Medivac, of course, being the only huge deal. Another supply depot goes down. Maru is not supply blocked because Maru lost so much, and he's treating this Medivac like it's a war prison basically, but surprise, it's not a war prison. Things are about to die anyway, but so is this Ravager. Now that the Viking is spawning as well, and Maru is getting more units, the Ravager is gonna be hunted down. But once the Queens get into position, Maru will acknowledge that yes, he killed the whole army of Scarlett, but he cannot really attack into Queens. Not with these few units. Ah, Queens. Why are they so good at everything? But there's no creep connecting the natural in the main. I do feel like creep spread between third and natural is also not completely connected. Queens are not really traversing that fast. Medivac is gonna try and retreat, but all of the Queens are very bruised. So Scarlett is not gonna go in for the kill, but you can see Scarlett still going pedal heavy on Roaches. Foot on the throttle. Viking's gonna try to snap a couple more overloads, at least gain some amount of map pressure and deny scouting information. And all is gonna go down. It's lost larva. It's 200 less minerals because you're gonna have to replace it. It's 1 less overload. The scouts on the right side, so Viking always finds value in this map. Pretty much every single first unit out of the starport always gains value in this matchup. The risky one, the odd one in the book, it's of course the Liberator, because sometimes you don't find a spot to CG, but if you get a little bit of mining time, you're getting something. The Banshee could be the odd one on the book, but if you make 2 Banshees, it's never an odd one because you're always gonna get at least like 4 drones, let's be honest. Of course, the Viking is just a good old reliable. It's a low investment, high scout information, high pressure, forces every single overload on the map to just go back next to the Queens. And it always feels like you cannot go wrong with a Viking, while sometimes Banshees and Liberator just go horribly wrong. Even though being overall more powerful than just a Viking. Cyclone and Hellion moving around. Meanwhile, over here, Raven will drop another turret, get 2 kills, then fly away. Not that healthy. But the Viking, as you can see, like, you cannot stop getting value from this. Oh, the overload is... ooh, barely surviving. The last volley goes in and 7 health stays on this overload. Not the most important. It would have been quite the unlucky supply block, though. Being able to make Ravages at this stage would have been quite bad for Scarlett. Yes, it's just like 10 seconds, but you get what I mean. Crit spread, of course, not looking amazing. Scarlett focusing on much different stuff right now. Bring a little bit all out with Maru easily sniping quite a lot of creep tumors. The army of Maru is very strong though, and of course this position is super defensible, with no third being taken outside of the main perimeter, with the pocket third being taken, of course. Scarlett maxed out on Roach Ravager. She's gonna get +1 melee attack with double Baneling Nest. Yeah, that's a mistake. 100%. There's no way. There's only one upgrade in the Baneling Nest. Yeah, double Baneling Nest it is. Huh. The Raven is gonna follow closely these Ravagers, ready to drop down the perfect anti-armor missile, completely impossible to see and to dodge. And of course, Roaches and Ravagers will lose quite a lot of tempo, with Maru moving on the right side. And the units are split. There's a couple of links added to the mix. Do they have link speed? Yes, they do. Okay. +2/+2 about to complete. Well, not really. Halfway through for Maru. Here goes the Roaches and the Ravagers diving on top of everything, not even building a concave. The choke point is too small. And you can see what I meant. Small bases in the ends of Terran just turn everything into a meat grinder. Spire, Hive going through at the same time. But the full might of Scarlett is absolutely useless right now. She will need to use this army to try and punish a fourth base from Maru. But Maru now is in full drop mode and is gonna try to pull her attention left and right. Exactly the kind of play that hurts Roaches the most. Over here, a small platoon is gonna be stationed to deal with these 3 medivacs. Maru wants to keep them as healthy as possible. Scarlett badly needs that Spire. It's still gonna be a while. The medivac are gonna collect everything and fly away on both sides. Maru not really able to bite as much as he wanted to. He's gonna slow down quick advance as per usual. He's gonna duck down on a couple of Roaches, losing only a couple Marines for that. Scarlett trying to break down the rocks, but the 2 medivacs were about to fly in. More and more creep tumors are gonna be sniped left and right. Maru not really getting much out of his army. Adrenal Glance is being started, while +2 Carapace is about to finish. +2 Missile just now started, a little bit on the later side, of course. The Greater Spire immediately turned from the Standard Spire. Scarlett doesn't want to waste any time. She does not care about mutas. She's going straight into Broodlords, which is the honest stack over here. You know, never gonna get used out of Ultras. Vipers are just not that great against what Maru is working with right now, so you better off just use your Bespin to regain a little bit of tempo by getting Broodlords out as fast as possible. It's that, or I always forget how that upgrade it's called. I need to click on Infestation Pit. Where is it? Where's the Infestation Pit? Oh, stuff is dying over here. Quite a lot of stuff. Those medivacs were not really that full. Not full enough to kill 12 drones, and it's not like Scarlett was working with an outstanding amount of workers. Well, here's the Infestation Pit. Hello there. Yeah, Scarlett working with not that many workers. She's gonna be on 87 right now after losing 13. But she was just now making them. The supply block is gonna be broken by units just simply dying. 2 more overloads incoming, 16 drones down. Quite the significant kill on the side of Maru. Oh yeah, I wanted to remember how that upgrade is called. Oh yeah, we play with the new Observer overlay. I forgot. Oh well. We will never know. Unless upgrade is being researched, it's close to being finished and I can just read its name. Ghosts are starting to join the field for Maru. And of course, we all know how powerful. Oh, here it is. It has a weird name to my. Yeah, I'm gonna play Devil's Advocate here. And he's gonna try to get a little bit of connections over here, but of course tanks are all over the place. Maru has built up quite a defensive perimeter. He hasn't lost pretty much anything. After the early game, he's lagging a little bit behind because he's dropping tons and tons of tech. Like you can see, Beagle weapons +2, +3, infantry armor and weapons, personal clock for the ghosts. Alongside an armory, and of course ghosts are starting to add up. Their snipes are gonna be mandatory against these broodlords. Here it is, Pathogen Glance. Finally, I remember about it. Shockwave EMP as well. Maru, a little bit afraid of course, Infestors, most of all. And honestly, also Vipers can be a very big nuisance. Even though Vipers are just easier to snipe because you don't get many Vipers. Well, you get many Infestors most of the times. Buildings are gonna get quite the decent connections. But of course, Scarlett right now just wants to trade some supply. She doesn't really want this Roach building army to stay alive that long. Here comes the Infestors as soon as Pathogen Glance is completed, of course. These Infestors is gonna be much more needed. She's spawned with Eiger energy and they can drop fungals like it's no big deal. From the get-go, Scarlett's script spread cannot really go past the middle of the map. Maru just consistently sniping through them. And having a million orbital commands all over the place. Just dropping scans every single second, basically. +3 vehicle weapons about to complete. Those tanks are about to hurt like a truck. These Infestors need to stay extra careful. And I don't think Scarlett has bird. No, she does have bird. Who am I kidding? Again, Roaches and Ravagers. Scarlett just wants to trade them down. Those are completely unupgraded as well. They only have Glider Reconstitution as far as I'm aside from, of course, the Carapace upgrade. They do have +1 missile, but yeah, it's doing absolutely nothing. I think it's completely like if you have +1 or if you don't have +1, it doesn't change anything against +3 armor bio. I do think I'm correct, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe you kill them in one less shot, but no, that should happen like without a +1 infantry armor and with +1 infantry. With +2, it shouldn't happen anymore, if I remember correctly. But those are boring, hard calculations. The Fusion Core is much more fun. And you can see Maru taking quite a lot of interesting upgrades. Blue Flame Igniter, Pre-Igniter, but whatever. Swift Servos, boost speed for the Medivacs, and Vehicle Plating 1 to ensure his mech units also hit a little bit harder and they're overall more versatile to use. A perfect scan is gonna see all of the might of Scarlett in just one single place. And you can see the doors already being added up. And of course, Swift Servos is gonna help those doors immensely when it comes to switching mode and try to snipe down those broodlords with heavy impact mode. Ooh, yeah. It's a fun nuke, but Scarlett saw this coming from a mile away. Over here in the top right, Scarlett is trying to chase down these units. Not much has happened in the last like 5 minutes since the attack, well, even more honest, since the attack from Scarlett with Roaches. Both of the players have been just content with dropping down so much tech. Ooh, beautiful Fungal and beautiful Ravager Piles. Maru loses one full Medivac. And you can see this is about to happen again. Here comes the Biles. And yeah, this is a complete disaster. Maru losing all 3 full Medivacs. Completely losing map control on the top right. Scarlett is just gonna safely move her army to the bottom. And just go drone heavy in this base, since it's gonna be impossible for Maru to get anything unscattered over there. Oh, there's missile turrets over here. These changelings are cute, but are never doing anything. I do get the feeling like Scarlett... Oh, this is pretty. Like Scarlett wanted to put those changelings in between the SCVs and just... Oh, snipes. In between... Oh my god, so many ghosts! Anyhow, do you get the feeling that these changelings wanted to get there so that the tanks would friendly fire on the SCVs, but... Yeah, like... It's cute, but it's not gonna work. They die in one hit, and splash damage area from the tanks, it's deceptively large. Scarlett still not really managing to trade this Ravager army as she wanted to. She is gonna be thankful for that, since now dealing with the tanks is not gonna be that easy, and Thors have a pretty hard time dodging the balls. The ghosts are gonna make it very complicated for Scarlett to maneuver those Russian Ravagers around. Oh no, you want to move out of there. Yeah, of course, the snap is gonna go through, sorry, the nuke is gonna go through, and it's gonna hit one spore caller and quite a lot of crit tumors, leaving a big old crater over here. Anti-armor missile is gonna force Scarlett out of there for a little while. The bullets cannot really bring the fight head-on to the Thors. What a game we're having so far, a long one, tense. None of the players really wants to lose. Liberator will drop a miracle shot. Oh my god, those EMPs! Yes, Maru seizes the opportunity to move forward. All of the Broodlords are covered in Cheeto dust. They're not gonna be that hard to kill for Maru. This story is not really healthy, is it? Yeah, that's not a lot of health. Since a lot implies that it's more than 2, which it really isn't. Lots of those are actually gonna sacrifice, basically uselessly, trying to bait units into this nuke. But Scarlett will know better, will move her drones out of the way, but she's losing quite an important position over here. The Broodlords gonna try to get on top of the Thors and Ravager piles alongside fungal growths. Definitely hurting like a truck. Scarlett, though, not that really healthy on these infestors. That's not a lot of energy. She lost quite a lot of stuff as well. 3 Broodlords, 1 infestor, 4 queens. 120 crypt tumors, oh my goodness. These Ravagers, though, 20 minutes in, still the MVP of the game so far. These Ravagers dropping down vials all over the place. The scan forward. Scarlett finds the red dot and moves out of the way. Alright, only Larva will be sniped. The Liberators cannot really drop shots on top of the Spore Cooler. These Broodlords need to stay extra careful. There's a lot of snipes available for Maru, and he will not falter dropping them. One goes through, it's on an Overseer. These Corruptors are basically useless right now. Scarlett needs to be careful. A beautiful EMP hitting on almost all of the infestors, and again, another base needs to be sacked for Scarlett. Not really working with a lot of workers. She has an insane bank, but so does her opponent. Those banks do not last forever, and Maru is by far the player who's getting... Oh, is by far the player who's getting the most resources right now. And he's gonna have more Vespin guys, like probably even doubling the Vespin gas than his opponent at a certain stage. His Spine Cooler is definitely not doing that great out of range of everything. Gonna drop a last dying shot on one Thor. Ravagers are moving forward, ready to drop more and more biles, but look at the Broodlords. They're taking such outstanding amounts of damage. They're falling down like flies, but so are the Thors, getting hit by the Broodlings one after the other. Scarlett bites back, but Maru knows that the map is easy to take, and knows that these opponents will not have as much as it does in a little while. Scarlett wants to make this an even trade though. and is ready to move forward. There's not a lot of Thors in this position, to be honest. Tanks are gonna make life hell for these tanks. But the Brulets do not want to overstay their welcome. Scarlett knows too. She's not the richest out here. She has a lot of minerals. But Vespin, it's definitely not on her side. She needs to do something. EMP eating absolutely nothing right now. Infestors are moving forward, but so are the Lings and the Broodlings. Infestors not really dropping much. More and more snipes incoming, this time on top of the Corruptors. Being focused down by Thors and Ghosts alike. Here comes a big fungal on the Ghost. And another one to follow, this time not as big. The Planetary Fortress goes down. Infestors are definitely not Igon Energy after another EMP hits the jackpot. More and more Brulets are marching forward. What is this game, guys? So many Thors being produced at once, 3 of them. Here goes the Liberators as well. But nuke after nuke, the army of Brulets is rendered to ashes. The Infestors are moving forward, they're burrowing, they're dropping down Neuroparasites. But those Neuros are not lasting long enough. Not with EMP dropping down on top of the Infestors and cancelling whatever they want to do. Scarlett, 70 supply behind, not having a bank anymore. 500 Vespin is nothing. And the last few Brulets do fall as well. The good old Planetary Fortress to kill a base because Maru can. And for no other reason at all. There's no way Scarlett can get in that position. Not without Brulets. 3 more Brulets are incoming. But Maru is about to seize the opportunity and move forward. Once more. Infestors, not Ig Energy. Another EMP. What are these EMPs by Maru? The Micro King hits again. Doesn't really have that much of a powerful army. But the army of Scarlett just does nothing. Another EMP. And there's 0 energy on these Infestors. There's 1 Infestor with energy. All of the Brulets are falling down one like after the other. Only the Ravagers are still going and Maru takes the series.